If you have a debit card, if you have a bank account, if you've ever trusted a fraud alert from your bank, this could happen to you.
A couple in Golden scammed out of nearly $140,000 through a sophisticated phishing scam. The question now, can Chase Bank help them recover their money?
Scott and Kate Zoe are a regular couple, business owners, smart, cautious, financially stable. Until one normal weekday, everything changed.
So there were 11 wire transfers in total, 2 on our personal accounts, 9 on our business accounts. We lost close to $140,000.
How devastating is that for you, Kate?
Every day we just wake up and feel like we're living kind of a nightmare right now.
Let's walk through what happened, moment by moment, so that it never happens to you. It started with a simple text on Scott's phone. It looked official. It said it came from Chase Alerts. Scott paused. He hadn't sent any wire. He immediately did what any smart person would do. He asked his business partners if they'd sent a transfer. They hadn't. So far, Scott was playing this by the book. He called his local Chase Bank branch, asking if they saw any activity. The branch confirmed there was no suspicious transfer showing on his account. They also gave him a number, the official Chase Fraud Department line, in case anything changed. That's when it got dangerous.
Got a text back immediately saying somebody from the Chase Fraud team will be in contact with you. Probably within 30 seconds, I received a phone call from the exact number that the branch had just given me.
It was the same number the branch had just given him. It matched Chase's fraud line exactly. He thought it was the bank, but it wasn't. This was the scammer's masterstroke. They had spoofed Chase's official number to make it appear on Scott's caller ID, the exact number Chase gave him just moments earlier. And when the scammers spoke, they sounded professional. They used real banking terms. They referenced the exact $4,500 wire attempt mentioned in the original text. They said his account was at risk, and they needed to secure the funds to keep them safe.
The people that were scamming us actually called back, and I'm like, great, these people know what they're talking about. I'm going to go back to this call.
And that's the moment trust was transferred. Scott believed he was working with his bank, but in reality, the criminals had gained complete control of the situation. By the time Scott realized something wasn't right, the damage was already underway. The person on the phone, who Scott believed was a Chase fraud specialist, told him that his account had been compromised and that the only way to protect his funds was to verify his identity and secure the money immediately. And that's when the trap closed. That one-time passcode, the same kind banks send every day, arrived by text message. It looked legitimate. It came from Chase, and Scott did exactly what millions of people would do in the same situation. He read it out loud. What he didn't know is that real banks will never ask for that code. Ever. That code wasn't for verification. It was the key that gave the scammers full access to his accounts. Once they had it, everything moved fast. Multiple wire transfers, personal and business accounts, money routed out in rapid succession, funds moved overseas. By the time Scott and Kate realized what was happening, $137,130 was gone.
Let's wake up and start all over again to try to accept that all our money's gone. And I'm not hopeful at this point in the journey that we're going to see any of it again.
What makes this case especially dangerous is that nothing about it looks suspicious. There were no broken English messages, no sketchy links, no overseas phone numbers. Everything looked exactly how a real bank interaction looks. Even worse, Scott did try to double-check.
And at one point, I even called the Chase line because the phone number dropped, and I called the Chase fraud line. And I was frustrated with actual Chase because they couldn't see the conversations that were happening. And within a minute, you know, the people that were scamming us actually called back, and I'm like, great, these people know what they're talking about. I'm going to go back to this call.
That's how convincing this scam was. The scammers didn't rush him immediately. They didn't demand money at first. They slowly built trust. And that's exactly why this worked. According to the FBI, this kind of fraud is exploding across the US. The reason? Technology has made it easy to fake legitimacy. Scammers can now spoof official bank phone numbers, mimic real fraud department scripts, trigger fake alerts, time calls perfectly, exploit fear and urgency, and once the money is wired out, it's usually gone. Wire transfers are treated like cash. They move fast, and once they cross borders, recovery becomes nearly impossible. Let's be clear. Scott and Kate didn't fall for some amateur trick. They were targeted by professionals, and their story isn't rare. It's part of a growing epidemic of phishing and spoofing scams that are sweeping across the country. According to the FBI, scammers are getting smarter and faster.
The technology does exist that they can spoof phone numbers from anywhere in the world and make it look like it's a Chase fraud department.
Brian Blosser is a special agent with the FBI who says phishing and spoofing scams are getting more sophisticated by the day.
One woman in Arizona lost $81,000 in an identical scam involving a spoofed call from her bank's fraud department. In another case in New York, a small business owner lost $250,000 over a 3-day period, all from following what she thought were bank instructions. According to FBI Internet crime data, $2.57 billion lost to business email compromise and wire fraud, $1.19 billion lost to phishing and vishing scams, over 21,000 victims of spoofed banking scams reported in just 1 year. And they're right, because once you believe it's your bank, you drop your guard. That's the psychology. You're not giving away money, you're following instructions from people you believe are protecting it. These scammers are not impulsive criminals. They're organized, strategic, and backed by data. They know what banks sound like. They know how long it takes before a victim starts to doubt, and they know exactly what pressure to apply and when. This is why awareness is the only real defense, because these scams don't just work on the careless, they work on the cautious, and they're spreading fast. Let me show you exactly how to protect yourself, what to do if you've already fallen victim, and the 4 non-negotiable rules you need to follow, no matter which bank you use. It's easy to assume that bank scams only target the elderly, the uninformed, or the reckless, but the truth? They target everyone: professionals, parents, small business owners, retirees, college students. The scammers behind these attacks aren't guessing, they're calculating. They're using tools like data breaches, public business filings, and even social media to build profiles on their victims. They know who to call, what account type they have, and how to sound exactly like a bank rep. Let's break down 2 more cases that mirror Scott and Kate's story. Case number 1. Business owner in California, $205,000 lost. A small accounting firm received what looked like a routine fraud alert. The firm's owner got a call from a spoofed Bank of America number saying multiple accounts were being compromised. He was asked to verify recent transactions and secure his funds by authorizing emergency transfers. Over 2 days, 5 wires were sent. By the time he spoke to the real bank, the money was long gone. Case 2. Single mother in Florida, $22,000 retirement fund gone. She got a text at 9:13 p.m. from what appeared to be Wells Fargo. "We've detected suspicious activity on your account. Tap here to verify or call us." She tapped the link. She entered her username. A code was sent from the real Wells Fargo system. Then a call came through. The caller ID said Wells Fargo fraud alert. She was thanked for her verification. And just like that, the scammers had enough to wipe out her retirement fund. People trusted familiar systems. The text looked normal. The code came from the bank's real system. But here's what no one tells you. Wire transfers initiated under false pretenses, they're treated as authorized, which also means non-refundable. And that's why scammers use wires. Once the money's gone, the bank may investigate, but they're rarely able to recall the funds. Often the funds are moved to foreign accounts or quickly converted to crypto and bounce through multiple wallets. The trail disappears in minutes, and the banks, they might help you file reports. They might even escalate it. But in most cases, the message is the same. "We're sorry, there's nothing we can do." So the question becomes, what can you do? Now I'm going to break down the non-negotiable rules to follow, what to do immediately if you think you've been scammed, and how to make sure this never happens to you. Let's get one thing straight. This can happen to anyone, and the only way to stop it is by staying one step ahead of the scammers. Because by the time they reach you, they've already done their homework. They already know your bank, your phone number, sometimes even your account balance. The only thing left between your money and their hands is how you respond. So here are the 4 non-negotiable rules that could save you from losing everything. Rule number 1. Never continue a conversation you didn't start. If you get a call, email, or text claiming to be from your bank, do not engage. Hang up. Don't click anything. Don't reply. And definitely don't verify anything. Instead, use a trusted number, the one printed on the back of your card, and start a new call yourself. Why? Because real fraud departments will never get offended by you verifying their identity, but scammers will pressure you not to. Rule 2. One-time passcodes are for you, not them. If someone asks you to read or send a code that was just texted or emailed to you, stop. No real bank rep will ever ask for that code. That code isn't to verify your identity. It's to unlock your account for someone else. Scammers depend on catching you off guard, in the car, in a store, while distracted. If it feels rushed, it's probably a scam. Rule 3. Urgency is the real red flag. Scammers create panic so that you don't think clearly. Real banks pause transactions. Scammers push you into them. If you ever feel rushed, that's your signal to slow everything down. Rule 4. Wires and transfers are not fraud protection. If someone tells you to wire money to protect it, that's not your bank. That's the scam. There is no such thing as a secure account you must wire money to in order to prevent fraud. Wire transfers are final. They're treated like cash. And once they're gone, they're almost impossible to trace. especially if sent internationally. What to do if it happens to you? If you think you've been scammed, even just a little, here's what to do immediately. Step 1. Call your bank, using a trusted number. Use the number printed on your debit or credit card. Tell them you may have been targeted in a scam, even if you're not sure. Freeze all wire capabilities. Add verbal passwords or multi-factor authentication. Ask to flag unusual activity going forward. Step 3. File a report at ic3.gov. That's the FBI's official Internet Crime Complaint Center. Filing a report creates a legal trail that may help in tracking or recovering funds later, especially if your scam is part of a bigger pattern. Step 4. Reset your expectations. This part is hard, but necessary. Wire fraud is not covered by FDIC insurance. Banks consider those transfers authorized if you initiated them, even under false pretenses. In some rare cases, fast action can help recover funds, but in most cases, the money is gone. Scott and Kate weren't careless. They were careful, and they were still tricked, because the scam didn't look suspicious. It looked familiar, it sounded official, and it moved fast. But now you know what to watch for, and what to do if that moment ever comes. Slow down, verify independently, and never share codes with anyone. Not over text, not over email, not over the phone. Your best defense is hesitation. This can happen at any bank. This can happen to anyone. Don't let it happen to you. If this helped you, like the video and subscribe for more.